This is a, whoops, this is a gear review for the Chandler Limited Curve Bender. This has been a dream EQ that I've wanted for a very, very long time. The first time I heard about it, well, first off, some of the notable mixers and producers that I saw that were using the Curve Bender: Ryan Hewitt, saw Joe Chicarelli uses this on the master bus. You got Tom Elmhirst in Electra Ladyland Studios and Ben Baptie that use the Curve Bender. I saw, people in different mastering engineers use this, like the Sterling Sound guys and guys and women, and some other mastering engineers. And even for them, they would just, the videos that I had seen, they wouldn't even EQ it. They would just let the signal run through and just add that sound to the final mix. Sorry about the sirens in the background. That's just LA here. But I had to save up for a very, very long time to get this EQ. I'd sold off a lot of other gear. Previously, I was using some API 550 clones that were, 2 EQs, 3-band EQs. And I wasn't really crazy about them, and so I sold that along with some other gear and saved up for the Curve Bender. And this is just, I will just say, this is worth every penny. People talk about this unit, they talk about mojo, they talk about vibe, and that could not be more accurate. You just put something in there and it just sounds electric, it sounds alive, it sounds, people use the word creamy, and I get what they're saying. It does kind of add this really like rich analog color to it. It has transformers inside. There's no tubes in this. It has transformers, and it's just absolutely fantastic for tracking any instruments. I use this to track as a tracking EQ. It's good for I use this for like a drum bus EQ. You can use it for, the mix bus, obviously. For mix bus, a lot of people just add like a little bit of high, a little bit of low, and then a little bit of mids as well. More for like a mix bus type situation. But this unit, you really could just run signal through it, and it does that thing that you want analog gear to do. And so right now I've used this for mix bus. I'm currently using this mostly for drum bus. And people talk about the mid-range on this thing, and this is a really good EQ for mid-range. Yes, it's got lows, and I actually love I love the high end of, the top end of this unit. I'm not, like, I think the low end's pretty good, but I think it really does specialize in that mid frequency and the high end, especially 12K. 12K is just something really special and beautiful, like 12, 16, 20. Pretty amazing on this EQ. I think it sounds really good on drums. It sounds obviously good on electric guitar too. You have to be a little bit careful, otherwise, if you push the mid-range too hard on this, it could sound like kind of that mid-rangey electric guitar that doesn't sound like as nice and stuff. But I mean, on drums and keyboards, this unit is pretty phenomenal. For my drum bus setup right now, I'm using the C2, compressing that at 4 dB, and then I, add some EQ on the Curve Bender, and then use this dangerous back EQ. That's part of my drum bus chain, and I've just been really enjoying that. You have like this part right here where, these are normally increments of, just listen to this. It's very satisfying too, like it's built like a tank. But you have, like, if you want it to be in 0.5 increments, you just keep it on that ×1, And then if you want it to be 0.75 increments, you would, it sharpens the Q, you can see right there, compared to the Q right here. And so I really like this, like 50 hertz and, you know, boosting this. Because it's like a higher Q, it really like gives the kick like a spot in the mix. And I like to do the same thing with the EQ for the snare as well. But, you know, you basically, you have an output gain right here. These are the ins and outs. Anything that you see that's like yellow is like the original, you know, they used to use, this is based off of like the EQ that they were using in Abbey Road Studios. I mean, everyone knows that. It's like the Beatles were there, Pink Floyd and stuff. And then like these marks that are yellow are like the original EQ values. And then Chandler Limited added some additional EQ points, which are in white here. And you can see that like the original unit, I'm guessing, was using, you know, low shelf and a high shelf. And it sounds really incredible. I like the EQ points. I think my favorite EQ points are probably like the EQ points on an API 550A. You know, these are kind of interesting. You have like 35, 50, 70, 91, 150. Kind of wish there was, you know, there's a part of me that just, you know, you really wish you had that 100, you know, or even that 60. And then, you know, if you want to put the EQ out, you can, you know, put that right there. And then they also have like this out switch, right? This dip switch. So if you put it in the middle, it'll take this unit out. I actually use this way more than I expected. It's really good at being able to tell, like, doing a quick A/B test if you have, you know, this specific EQ point dialed in for something. So I'm doing that all the time, just like, you know, putting it in, taking it out, and it's just extremely helpful. It is a dream EQ, and it's one that I don't think I'll really ever let go because it's pretty incredible. Because I have the backs and I like the filters, the cut filters on here, I'm not really using like the high pass or low pass filters. It's really cool though, like these high pass and low pass filters give you a very unique sound. Like you could basically, I feel like if you wanted to do like really lo-fi drums or something, you know, you can cut a lot of that high end out, and it's got a really cool sound to the high pass. Like I would say these high pass and low pass filters are a good like stylistic addition that can really use high pass and low pass as like a creative element to your mix if you wanted to do that. For first thing I think of is drums, you know. But then yeah, you know, the Curve Bender does require its own like special power supply unit, but you know, it's completely worth it. And it is, to me, this is kind of like a dream piece, and it's going to be something that I always keep, always something that, you know, you think of the sound of a transformer, like electric, and it's very colored for sure. But it gives you kind of the right polish. It sounds like music. That's all that I will say. And, you know, I haven't really tried any of the Universal Audio plugins. I don't have Universal Audio anymore. But like I know that a lot of people love using that, so I can't compare to the plugins, but this is the real deal, and it's just absolutely incredible. Don't think you would regret picking this up. It's worth every penny, and use it to track, use it to mix. And sometimes like I'm using this for, you know, a drum bus right now, and then, you know, when I want to print print the whole track, I'll just like put everything at 0 and just run stuff through it, and it just makes everything sound right. It sounds like all the famous records that you've heard, in terms of just the sound that it imparts to your music.